Guys, Shawn here,
Gary here.
and today we are going to do a project analysis on the upcoming Lentor Central Residences. So basically, Lentor Central Residences is the newest Lentor project in the whole Lentor Enclave, and it's the second post-harmonized project in the whole estate. So with the first being Lentor Mansion. So just to share a bit more, Gary and I have went to see the project, as in we've seen the show flat itself, and we feel that it's a pretty interesting and quite an attractive offering that's going to come onto the market very shortly. Yep.
And Lentor Central Residences will actually be previewing from 22nd February onwards. Yeah, and so for this analysis of Lentor Central Residences, right, we will actually be going through the floor plans and compare it with the surrounding Lentor projects. We will not be going in depth into the prices for the analysis because we feel that the most important thing is to actually understand the types of different layouts and how you can secure a better layout in order to stand out in the resale market.
Yeah, I mean, we'll still talk a bit about pricing wise, but we'll just leave that for later on as well. Moving on, we'll look at the project information for Lentor Central Residences.
Yeah, so actually this project is developed by Hong Leong, Guocoland, and also this time around they brought in CSC as one of their builders. If you are not familiar, actually Guocoland has a few projects in the Lentor estate as well. There are many Lentor Modern, Lentor Hills Residences, and also Lentor Mansion.
Yep.
So it has a total of 477 units. There are actually two blocks. One block is 28 stories high, the other is actually 27 stories high. So the TOB date, I think we heard from developer is about 2028, right?
Yeah, 2028 indicative, but on paper could go up to 2030. So we are just looking around at the later half of this decade.
That range,
yeah, correct.
Okay, so actually a lot of Lentor projects will be hitting TOP around the same time. But one of the advantage that Lentor Central Residences have, right, is actually because it's being the later batch of the Lentor project currently, so it will not TOP together with the rest of the projects from what we are anticipating.
So from what we understand is that Lentor Modern, Lentor Hills Residences, they'll TOP first. In a way, this is actually a good thing, because let them go out and set the benchmark prices first for the whole Lentor estate, and you have less competition later on once you TOP. So I think in a way, it's actually quite a good time for you to enter at this second wave into the Lentor area, like if you're looking at this part of Singapore. So in terms of the site plan, we noticed one thing from the show flat is on an elevated ground. So that means, right, your level 1 is actually a level 3 or level 4 equivalent compared to other projects.
Correct.
And I think there was quite a bit of landscaping as well. A very ample amount of facilities, both on the ground levels and even on the sky decks. Yeah, and even where your level 14 is replaced by a landscape deck as well. So it's a very nice break in between.
So actually for this Lentor Central Residences, right, there's actually two main facing. So one is a north facing. So this north facing you'll be actually facing, currently you'll be facing an empty plot of land, but do take note that this plot of land is actually currently already zoned residential. So it means that there will be future residential developments being built over there. So likely to say in the future, the view might be blocked. Yeah. So the south facing will be actually pointing towards the park, the Hillock Park. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe in terms of premium facing wise, do expect maybe the south orientation units to command that premium over there. Yeah. We will talk about the unit mix for Lentor Central Residences. Out of the 477 units, we can see that one bedroom comprises about just over 11%, whereas your 2, 3 and 4 comprises the majority of it. So when we look at a percentage of this amount, right, you can tell that actually Lentor Central is more of a own stay, more for family oriented kind of things.
Correct.
But I still think it's quite a good mix. There's still there's offerings for all kinds of buyers. Whether you're a first-time single home buyer, an investor, or upgraders, or to larger families, there's something for everyone over here. Yep.
Before I go into the supply and demand, one thing I find it interesting about Lentor, I would like to share with you all is that every time there's a new launch coming out in this area, right, the day one price for the new launch, right, actually almost goes back to the day one price of the previous launch, if you all have noticed. Yeah, so it sort of means that you have a new chance to buy a unit at a cheaper price because the previous development would have sold at a higher price after day one. So if you go in at day one for, let's say, Lentor Central Residence, you have a chance to purchase it at a cheaper price.
So basically, you're saying like we are going in at day one price before the developer does any price increments.
Correct, correct, yeah.
So I think that's something that is something good for you to know, especially in today's market where a lot of people are saying that the new developments prices are like higher one after another. So this is like one of the more rarer opportunity, and also in the fact that because most of Lentor is developed by Guaco, the new projects, the pricing strategy should not differ too far apart from those.
Yeah, that's what we're anticipating as well. Yeah, so and also since Lentor has also quite a few projects at the moment and gonna have new launch coming up as well, so we believe that it will take maybe slightly longer to sell compared to projects such as Orie and Parktown lah. So it's a good news for the buyers out there, so you all might still have the opportunity to get something if your ballot number is not that great.
Yeah, so I think over here when we talk about supply and demand, one common concern that we hear from our clients is that they say, hey, what if there's an oversupply in Lentor? There's like so many projects. And I think to date, as you can see over here, there's already been more than 2,477 projects 2,477 units that have launched across the past 5 projects. However, the thing is that you do know that Lentor is actually quite a new town for the area where they're launching, and it launched around I think the 3rd quarter of 2022, and till date, in just a span of 2 over years, 93% has been sold already. So this shows that even though yes, there's a lot of supply in the area, the demand is very healthy. It's not like
strong.
Correct. It's not like half the units are still left on the shelf, that kind of thing. So I feel that developers know that okay, this is the area where a lot of people are looking at, and I think that's something that you can feel more assured if you're a buyer.
Yeah, and one small thing I would like to point out is that if you look at the screen, you can see that actually most of the projects that are actually near to selling out are actually Guaco land projects. Just something for you all to take note lah. Yeah, and actually for the supply in Lentor, there's like Shawn said, there's about 2,000 plus over units. So it's sort of like a mega size development, just like Treasure at Tampines. Yeah, but the difference is that this one is many projects, Treasure is just one project lah. So for Lentor, if you are looking to buy a unit here, right, if you choose the right project, you already have your first advantage. Second advantage is if you choose a better layout and that's better than the rest of the Lentor projects, you already stand out in the resale market already.
Correct, because if next time once you TOP, a typical resale buyer, they will want to view the different projects around the area.
Correct.
And if your layout is something that's very efficient, it helps you stand apart from the rest, and maybe you would command a better asking price later on.
So now let's move on to the one bedroom analysis. Yeah, so we'll be touching on about the floor plan. So for the one bedder here, actually there's only one size lah. It's 463 square feet. For the layouts, there's actually not much difference. It's an open kitchen concept. Both are actually north facing. Yeah, correct. So actually for one bedder of 463 square feet, right, it's very difficult to find in today's new launch market. It's considered smaller than the other ones. Yeah, so actually smaller ones can be a good thing. Why? Because it translates to a lower quantum, easier to enter for the first time home buyers or something, and also translate to a higher rental yield.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, but one concern we have, right, is actually whether is there any oversupply of the one bedder in the Lentor area lah. So let's take a look.
So what we did is actually we did a close comparison to a nearby township, Hougang. And in Hougang, we've calculated there's approximately about 2,100 one-bedroom units out of 10,283 residential units in the whole of Hougang. So this translates to about 20%, I would say. And when we compare this to Lentor, right, current supply of Lentor is actually only 7% of all the units that have been launched already. So the reason for this is because URA introduced a new ruling of the minimum 85 square meters, and hence this would mean that there's actually lesser one bedder and developers will make bigger units moving forward. Yep.
Yeah, so for the rental yield, right, we are taking the Meadows at Pierce as a case study. It's one of the nearest development in Lentor that we can use lah. So for the one bedder rental here, right, the average rental here is actually about 2,900. Yeah, 2,942. So this one is for one bedder. So let's take a look at the two-bedder. So for two-bedders, right, the average rental here is actually about 3,500. It's around there. So why are we comparing these two, right? It's actually because that we are a bit concerned that the one-bedder rental you might not perform as well as a two-bedder because the direct competition in facing the one-bedder in Lentor Central, right, we think that it will be the Lentor
Mentioned two-bedder.
Two-bedder one bath, yeah, which is at 527 square feet, which is only slightly bigger than the one-bedder in Lentor Central.
Correct.
Yeah, so if we take a look at these figures over here, right, so let's say we take a 2003 PSF as a benchmark, not saying developer will launch at this price. Yeah, so at this PSF, right, the one-bedder will cost about 1.06 million. So if we take just now the average rental here, 2009, we can see that the rental use is actually 3.3%. So for two-bedder, right, Lentor mentioned the average purchase price, transacted price is 1.2. Let's take the two-bedder at the Meadows Pierce as a case study. It will be the 3,480. The rental use is 3.4%. So it's actually quite similar lah. Yeah.
So I would say it's actually not too, even if you get into a one-bedder today at Lentor Central Residences, in terms of a rental investment perspective, you shouldn't be too affected by it since it's only a likely 0.1% difference in rental yield. Yeah, but however, I think something that you have to be aware of is that in terms of an exit strategy next time, you may face some steep competition if you're a one-bedroom owner versus a Lentor Mansion two-bedder owner. When they're trying to exit, because it might be more appealing to the pool of buyers out there, because a two-bedder could fit not just investors but maybe a couple or small families as well. So it's just something that you need to take note first lah, if you're looking at a one-bedder at Lentor Central Residences. Yep. But of course, if you're looking to start small and invest in something, then I think this is still quite an acceptable size, whether for your investment or own stay, especially for singles or a young couple. I think it's still something that's quite fair in today's market. One plus study in Lentor Central Residences, there's only 2 units, but let's deep dive and see what are the main differences are.
Yeah, okay, so actually for this one plus study, you can see it's an enclosable kitchen with a glass panel here. Both layouts are about the same, just that they are different facing. So we think that it's an efficient layout, but because since there's only 2 units, we won't be talking too much about it. And if you're looking to get it, then I hope your queue number is good. For the 2-bedroom analysis, right, there's actually 2 sizes. The first size is 678 square feet. As you can see over here, these 2 are the dumbbell layout. The second size is 689 square feet, which is the traditional layout. Yeah, so the facing you can see here
in color coded.
It's color coded. So for the kitchen here, all are actually enclosable. I think for today's new launch market, a bit rare to see the kitchens mostly is enclosable. Usually some will have open concept one. Yeah, and the enclosable kitchen right here also still got glass panel. So your kitchen won't be that dark at least still got some light still can come in. So we will actually let's compare the two-bedder to the other projects in Lentor. So the first comparison we have actually taken Hillock Green, Lentor Mansion and Lentoria. So why we took these 3 projects is because these 3 we feel that is not as good as the layout in Lentor Central. Why is because their kitchen are all open concept.
So when it comes to like heavy cooking or what, then the smell would most likely, spread to the rest of the house. And usually, I think in a more traditional Asian household, people still prefer their kitchen to be tucked away. Is this like a preference kind of thing?
Yeah, the enclosable kitchen is still more desirable by homeowners. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, so this one, Lentor Central, I think is the standing out one. So now let's look at the more comparable ones. So we are looking at Lentor Modern and Lentor Hills. So Lentor Modern, we are looking at the 2-bed 1-bath flexi. So for this part, right, the kitchen is also tucked away at the side. It's enclosable as well. And they also have another flexi room here. Yeah. So Lentor Hills also have an enclosable kitchen. But one thing good about Lentor Hills Residence, right, is actually their window panel here. It's actually longer. So it makes your kitchen look brighter. You don't need to on lights during the day.
Correct, because it's
buy the
glass,
kitchen.
glass panel. So basically it makes both your kitchen and your living space even bigger in that sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's that was a good thing about Lentor Hills Residences. However, I think there's two things we need to take note. Is that both these projects were pre-harmonized. So that means in terms of efficient space, you're actually smaller than Lentor Central Residences at 678 square feet. The rest are 664 and 646.
Yes, correct.
And even if you want to buy these layouts, sorry to say you can't because they are both fully sold. Yeah.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So moving on to the 2-bedroom plus study. So there's actually two sizes. The first size is actually 786 square feet. So for 786 square feet, right, there's actually 3 stacks, 3 different layouts. Yeah. So one thing I want to point out is that for this layout here, right, this one, the kitchen is, although it's enclosable, but the glass panel is only this small. Yeah, but whereas for the other two, the glass panel is actually bigger. So this is actually better because the kitchen will look brighter. Yeah, don't need to on the light in the day to make it look bright. Yeah.
Your living room actually has this illusion that it looks bigger also because of the glass as well.
Correct. Yeah. So the next one is actually the 797 square feet. So there's actually not much difference in the size only the foyer area slightly bigger. Yeah.
And actually the kitchen, right, they also have lesser glass panel compared to the one that we saw previously as well. Yeah.
So the 786 with the longer glass panel will be better. Yeah, so actually for this, right, when we are comparing with other Lentor projects, one of the concerns that we see is that Lentor mentioned 3-bedroom is also 786 square feet. So this one, I think it poses a more strong competition.
Correct, because in a way that when you look at Lentor Mansion 786 at the same size, you actually have 3 proper bedrooms compared to a 2-bed plus study. I think that's something that you have to be a bit concerned if you're looking into a 2-bed plus study at Lentor Central Residences today.
I think homeowners nowadays, if you have the chance, you have the budget to go for a 3-bed or 2-bed plus study, of course, getting the 3-bedder makes more sense So that's where our concern comes from.
Okay. So next, but before that, I think I just want to say that even if you want to get a 3-bedder at Lentor Mansion, it's also fully sold.
No more.
The next best option could be the 3-bedder at Lentor Central Residences, which we'll go into later on. But moving on, first is our top pick for 2 bedrooms in Lentor Central Residences. Actually, our top pick would be the 689 square feet at Stack 18. So for this one, it's actually just a very traditional 2-bed layout that is very acceptable in today's market. It comes with an enclosable kitchen which gives you that slight edge over the other Lentor 2-bedders also.
Yeah, and now traditional 2-bedroom actually mostly are open concept kitchen. It's very rare today to see that they have an enclosable one.
Yeah. And actually most of the majority of the 2-bedder units that we see in Lentor are actually dumbbell layout, which some people might not like and they still prefer the traditional one. And there's total about 249 units in Lentor Estate, which is the traditional layout. So this makes your unit, it makes it even more rare and could be even more in demand next time when you're going onto the resale market.
So one thing we like to re-emphasize that when you are choosing to buy a unit at Lentor, right, I think the most important focus is that try not to buy a layout that's too common or there's a lot of supply in the area.
More competition.
Yes, correct. Yeah, although we also cannot label 2-bedroom itself as a supply because 2-bedroom itself has different layouts, different types and different feels you are getting. So if you are buying in the area that has a lot of condos, then it will be better to buy a unit with a good layout and that's rare. So you can stand out in the resale market.
Correct. So I think this will be our top pick. Maybe second pick would be the slightly more compact 2-bedder, the 678 square feet. Then our, the third pick would then be the 2-bed plus study because of its direct comparison with Lentor Mansion, smallest 3-bedroom later on. So just for your own consideration if you're looking at 2-bedder at Lentor Central Residences.
Correct.
Okay. So now moving on to the 3-bedroom analysis. Starting unit is actually the 915 square feet, the 3-bedroom compact. However, do not let this size put you off because me and Gary, we feel that this is actually probably one of the better layouts that we've seen when it comes to 3-bedroom across the whole market in today's offerings that we see out there. So in terms of information-wise, stack 7 and 12, the north-facing, are the ones with this 915 square feet. I think one thing that we really like about this unit is that the developer was very generous when it comes to like the glass panels and the windows, which we'll highlight to you right here.
Yeah, there's a lot of windows in this unit actually.
Yeah. So one thing you can see that I'm highlighting on the screen here is the kitchen over here is actually glass panels. And this actually amplifies your kitchen space and your living room space also. You know, it's very bright compared to a lot of 3-bedrooms that we see today. Yes, they are bigger in terms of square feet, but because it's more enclosed and there's more walls at where these glass panels are, it actually looks more claustrophobic and it looks even darker. So that could sometimes put off other buyers. But with this glass panel, right, I think you feel more comfortable in a sense.
And kitchen also has one more window here.
Correct, right over here. So, you know, because some of the kitchens that we see today, even the 3-bedrooms, they do not come with a window. It's just the normal ventilation, which people feel like, when I do traditional cooking and all that, the fumes and all, they might not be circulated properly. But with this window, it sort of alleviates this problem. Moving on, also, the bathrooms all have a proper window as well, master bath and the common bath also. So because like the same thing in terms of ventilation, this is more preferred, you know, more natural air in case your ventilation fan for those non-window units, they break or something. So a window helps. And one more special thing that we would like to bring your attention to is that
even the walkway also have window.
Yeah. So Gary, do you know why there's a window at the walkway?
Can you tell me?
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. The AC latch for this 3-bedroom compact is along the side of this window. So of course you need the aircon repair guy to an access point, and hence they put it over here. So I think it serves not just as an access point, but the next advantage is that this makes your whole corridor very bright, you know.
Yeah,
which do you find that nowadays the 3-bedrooms are a bit darker in terms of the corridor?
Yeah, because usually a 3-bedroom in today's new launch market, we seldom see a unit with so many windows, kitchen with a long glass panels. You mean, I see this layout, right? Even your foyer still can get light from the kitchen window. Like. So, all in all, I think the whole unit is actually quite bright. Yeah.
So I think this is, like we said, your layout must stand out from the rest of the competition that we see today. And also one last thing that I would like to draw your attention to is quite a small touch, but sometimes people tend to overlook, is that your foyer space is not directly looking into your unit.
You have more privacy.
You have a privacy, So you can turn in like that, maybe even do a shoe rack over here. You know, I think it's quite smart of the developer to think of. And there's also even a storage here, you know.
Today's market, very rare.
Yeah, like yes, not every 3-bedder has a home shelter like this unit, for example. But this storage, you can put your cleaning products, your vacuum cleaners, you know, those Dyson ones. Yeah, so I think it's very practical when it comes to 3-bedders that we see out there in the market today.
Yeah, and 3-bedder for this size, right, actually, although it's smaller, but the quantum, I feel, is more acceptable and more affordable to maybe first-time home buyers or HDB upgraders. Yeah.
Correct. So because and at 915 square feet, if you're gonna multiply by how the previous
launches,
you're looking at a launch of below 2 million, maybe even 1.9 or high 1.8, which I think is like what Gary said, it's very acceptable for
very attractive
the pool of upgraders out there within the Lentor vicinity. You know, you have Ang Mo Kio, which are hitting the $1 million mark for 4-room flats already. They're just MOP. Yishun, there's a lot of upgraders. Woodlands as well, and you know, with along the Thomson East Coast line, Lentor is one of the stations. So those are your exit strategy moving forward.
Correct.
So just looking at a layout comparison for 3-bedders in terms of similar size to Lentor Central Residences, we have Lentoria and Hillock Green. You know, Lentoria is 915 square feet and Hillock Green is 904. However, these are pre-harmonized projects. That means they include in your AC latch and things like that. So actually, the actual size, would you say, is about below 900?
Definitely below 900, like 800 plus. So
800
it will be smaller than the 3-bed 2-bath at the Lentor Central.
Correct. So when it comes to, let's look at Lentoria first, comparing to Lentor Central Residences. The kitchen, actually, say it doesn't look fully enclosable also.
No.
So it's a bit more of a semi-open layout.
Yeah. Correct.
And when it comes to Hillock Green, that one thing good is that it's enclosable, over here. However, it's not glass, so it will actually make it look darker, and then there's a small window over here compared to the one at Lentor Central Residences. So today, if I were to ask you, if you're gonna look at Lentor Central Residences and Hillock Green, which one would make your unit look more spacious? Definitely the Lentor Central Residences one. We will look at the more comparable in terms of layout, not just size, but in terms of layout, which we feel is your competition when it comes to purchasing a 3-bedder compact at Lentor Central Residences.
So here we are actually looking at 3 other developments, Lentor Modern, Lentor Hills, and also Lentor Mansion. So for the Lentor Modern, it's a 3-bed 2-bath with a flexi. So you can see that the kitchen is actually enclosable. You also have a window here. Yeah, then the flexi room is here lah. Yeah. Although the kitchen has windows, but it will definitely still be not as bright as the kitchen in Lentor Central Residence. Yes. Then for Lentor Hills, right, there's a glass panel here, but you can also see that the DB box is blocking part of the glass panel. There's another window here as well. So overall, the kitchen will still be bright, but I think the small nitty-gritty thing here I would feel is the DB box that's blocking the glass panel lah. Instead, you can see at the Lentor Central here, the glass panel here is actually it's quite smooth. It's not
wider
blocked.
in a way.
Correct.
I think one more thing I want to add on is for Lentor Hills Residences. There's also a window along the corridor also. So it's very comparable to Lentor Central Residences. And when it comes to Lentor Mansion, one thing that they gave was this flexi room also. So I think it's quite a nice touch compared to, maybe Lentor Central Residences. However, the thing is that Lentor Mansion, Lentor Hills Residences, and Lentor Modern has all been fully sold out for this type of units. So I think, fret not, actually this is a good thing for you if you're looking into a Lentor Central 3 compact, because you know that these are actually units that are in demand, hence they are already fully sold out. So I think if today buyers can already accept this kind of layout, this one next time when you want to exit, right, it can also be accepted by the resale buyers out there. And one more thing is that not only has all this been sold out, we have already checked the transacted price also. So transacted price wise, right, they all started almost similar, 1.8 to 1.9 million.
Yeah.
So we would expect prices for this 3 compact to shouldn't have too much differences compared to these 3 other projects. And also they have already transacted up to 2.16 million.
Yes, correct.
So if today, Gary, you are the buyer who bought Lentor Modern at 2.16 million, how much do you want to exit that in the future?
2.4?
2.4, right? So that means if today you are going into Lentor Central, if you're going in below 2.1, I would say actually you're giving yourself a lot of safety buffer already.
Alright, yes.
So I think in terms of quantum and the size-wise is both very efficient.
Yeah, and one small thing I also want to point out to you guys is that if you take a look at the Lentor Modern, the starting price 1.822 and Lentor Hills 1.839. So Lentor Modern actually launched before Lentor Hills. I think the gap is about 10 months if I'm not wrong. Yeah, but you can see that for Lentor Hills, right, Lentor Hills is launched after Lentor Modern. But you can see the starting price here is similar to the Lentor Modern. So like what we just said earlier in the video, you can buy your day one price of a new launch. You can buy.
It's
the same as the previous launch. Yeah. So you are like you are going back in time like that. So this is very rare in other projects. You don't really get to see it today lah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like if you see other places, maybe the first launch was about maybe 2004 per square feet, but the next one that comes after that, the preceding, the following one is about maybe 2.7k per square feet, which I feel is like, okay, it's a bit of a big jump. There's like almost a 10% gap, but here it's more minimal. So we expect prices to hover around this area.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now moving on to the 3-bedroom premium at 1,076 square feet, we have 2 stacks over here, 17 and stack 2. So we saw this layout in the show flat itself. The main differences here, apart from the 3 bedrooms, the 3 bedrooms is still a 3-bedroom premium, but the main differences would be a wider kitchen, You have a yard over
You
here.
got a yard, you got a extra home shelter.
Yep.
You got extra WC.
WC. And
Yeah.
one thing about this WC that I might add is that they even gave a window over here, which is something that is quite unique.
Very rare lah.
Very
Very
rare,
rare. Yeah,
correct,
really
correct.
very rare.
Yeah, so it is something that I think it's quite a nice touch also.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
really
yeah.
make it for very own stay,
And very homely.
Correct,
yeah, correct.
And also one more thing that we noticed in the show flat itself is that they gave a storage space over here also. So like we said previously for the 3 compact also, this storage I think is good for, other than putting your cleaning appliances or handheld vacuum cleaners, you can even put your dry goods also, rice,
correct.
whatnot also. Yeah, so I think it's quite a well thought out strategy by the developer.
Yeah, but the concern we have here for this 3-bedroom premium is the size.
Yeah.
So why do I say so? Is because at 1,076 square feet, this is very near to the next jump, which is the 4-bedder. Yeah. So, but the 3-bedroom premium and the 3-bedroom compact, the difference is quite big. It's about 161 square feet more.
Yeah, so if you're gonna times 2,000,
Let's say we take 2,000 就好啦。
okay, 2,000 per square feet, right? That it translate to about I don't know,
$320,000.
$320,000
Yeah.
for a yard, household shelter, and WC. Which I feel that if you just top up a bit more, right, to a 4-bedroom, it might actually make more sense.
Yeah, because
financially
the
also.
jump from 3-bedroom premium to the 4-bedroom is 108 square feet. So 108 square feet, let's say we use 2,000 PSF as a gauge is 200,000 more.
Yep.
So if I have the budget right, I would rather go for the 4-bedder
Correct, it might make
instead
more
of
sense.
the 3-bedroom premium. Yeah.
But no worries, we'll go into that later on. So when it comes to the overall 3-bedders in Lentor Central Residences, our top pick is actually maybe the 3-bedroom compact, 915 square feet. So because of the efficient use of space, the generous amount of windows that they have given, and I think in terms of sellability next time, it's easier to exit.
Definitely stand out.
Yeah,
Yes.
compared to like maybe a 3-bedder premium in terms of, I think the size and price-wise is more acceptable for HDB upgrader
Yes.
also. Yeah. So, okay. And moving on is the 4-bedroom analysis.
Yes.
So when it comes to 4 bedrooms, mainly there are two different kind of layouts. First one is like normal standard 4-bedroom, and then the next one is a 4-bedroom premium. So looking at the normal 4-bedroom, we also have 2 stacks over here, stack 8 and stack 13. Both are south facing, which is more premium facing. They're facing more towards Hillock Park. Yeah. So it comes in at 1,184 units. Actually, looking at this, right, it's almost similar. But the main difference that I would have to point out to you is actually the walk-in closet that you see over here and over here.
These two difference
Correct. So, but I think apart from that, like what Gary mentioned earlier, is that at 1,184 square feet, right, you're only about
108
square feet more than the 3-bedroom premium. So hence, if you're going for a 3-bedroom premium and you still have a bit of budget, maybe why not go to a 4-bedroom in that sense? Correct. Yeah. So I think this will appeal to maybe upgraders or with maybe more kids or have more future planning in mind also. Okay. Moving on to the 4-bedroom premium. We also have 2 stacks, stack 3 and stack 16. So one of it is north facing, one of it is south facing, and as mentioned previously, we feel that the south facing one, as shown here, would be more of a premium lah. Okay.
So actually here the living and the dining, the landscape layout quite big.
Correct. So the difference over here, right, is that at 1,399 square feet, the developers have given you a very wide landscape living room. I heard it's about 5.35 meters.
Around there, yes.
Around there.
You also get an extra bathroom as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's about 4 bed, 3 baths. Yeah. And you also have like a Jack and Jill concept lah. Oops, where is it? Okay, Jack and Jill concept. Yeah, over here and over here.
Yeah, so another thing I'd like to point out for the 4-bedroom premium is that you can see that the 4th bedroom, right, is not on the same side as the rest of the bedrooms. It's actually on the other side. Whereas for the 4-bedder compact, you can see that it's all on the same side here lah. Yeah. So this one is on the other side.
1 bedroom will be on the other side.
But here you can see the additional bathroom also got window. So here also got window. WC still have window. Yeah. Overall, I think the 4-bedroom is also will be very brightly lit, natural light lah. Yeah.
I feel that for this 4-bedroom premium, it's also there's lesser supply also, so you won't have much competition. But most people who buy this kind of layout, right, they buy for long-term own stay. So when it comes to sellability or what, maybe people will still go for the compact. I feel that it's more acceptable lah.
Yeah, because I think the gap is too big lah. Because this one is 1399 square feet. The other is actually what, 1184.
Yeah, and if the profit is about the same, right, then you might as well go for the 1184 also.
Yeah, you are paying
ROI lah.
Yeah, 200 square feet at 2000 PSF, you are paying 400,000 more.
Correct.
Yeah, for the extra 200 square feet, which some of the buyers out there might not be able to fork out this extra money. Yeah, so the smaller 4-bedroom will be more appealing lah.
Yep. Okay. And now to the layout comparison for Lentor in terms of 4-bedroom. So we compared Hillock Green and Lentor Hills Residences. Also, as we mentioned, that Hillock Green and Lentor Hills, they are pre-harmonized projects. So their actual size would still be smaller than Lentor Central Residences. Okay, so moving on to Hillock Green first. It's at 1,346 square feet. So this is already smaller than Lentor Central Residences. However, one thing good is that they come with a junior master. So this would be more appealing to maybe like multi-gen families. Yeah. And but your living room will be narrower and smaller lah in that sense.
Slightly smaller.
Yeah. And when it comes to Lentor Hills Residences, the living room is very wide. Actually, I think it's wider than Lentor
wider
Central.
than Lentor Central. Yeah.
Yeah, however, I think the part where it comes a bit short of is that it's pre-harmonized. So maybe effective space could be actually 1,003 or actually even less than that.
Yeah, around there.
When it comes to 4-bedders, our overall top pick, right, is actually the 1,184 square feet. So mainly like what we mentioned earlier, if we look at in the ROI kind of view, right, if you're looking in terms of profit, the 1,184 would stand out because in terms of quantum, it's lesser than the 1,399. And we did some homework as well. So we took Jadescape, which is about maybe a 10-minute drive away in Marymount. Yeah,
Marymount area.
Yes, Marymount, right? Yeah. So we look at the 4-bedroom compact over there, which is 1,259 square feet with a portrait living room versus the 1,647, which is like a 4-bedroom premium, which is a landscape layout. When we look at the ROI, right, it's actually almost similar.
Similar lah, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think some of the portrait even outcompete the landscape.
Earn more, yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of this, right, actually, wouldn't it make sense to you to buy something at a more lower quantum, but then having the same ROI as someone who spends more than you? Yes. Hence, I think when we apply this to Lentor Central Residences, our top pick would still be
the 1,184 lah.
Correct.
Yes, the smaller one.
And I think both overall are still very livable. So yes, this is our top pick for investment. If you're looking for own stay long term, right, then yes, go for a 1,399. It's more spacious. The wide living room enables you to have more hosting, dinner parties.
Looks
things
more
like
grand.
Definitely. But of course, I think that's the thing that you have to take note of is your ROI lah. But if you're gonna do a long term own stay, then maybe your comfort would take precedence over everything else.
Yes,
we went through quite a bit today, but I believe that some of our viewers out there, they might have more concerns.
Further questions.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to either me or Gary, and we'll be happy to share with you more about Lentor Central Residences or any other project.
You have any questions about the floor plans, anything, just reach out to us. The reason why we are doing this is also we hope that you can be fully prepared and not stressed when it comes to balloting day lah. So at least you know which are the layouts you want to go for, which are the ones maybe you would want to avoid. And which are the ones to take note of lah.
Yeah, I mean, after all, a home is a huge financial commitment, so I think it's better to be empowered with the knowledge first, and if need be, just reach out to any one of us.
Right. So once again, I'm Gary.
And I'm Shawn.
We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.